I'd like you to come on a bit of a journey with me. Think back to your think back to when you were at high school or maybe even primary school and try and remember a lesson that stood out to you. Maybe you're thinking of this lesson for good reasons. Maybe you learnt something. Maybe you're thinking of it for bad reasons. Maybe something happened in the class that's really stuck with you since. For me, the lessons that stand out were never the lessons that my teacher actually intended to teach. I don't really remember too many maths lessons or English lessons or anything like that. The lessons that I remember are the ones that taught me something deeper. There was one teacher in particular. His name was Daniel Sharp. He's actually related to Nola Sharp for anyone who's been around Toastmasters for a while. And Daniel Sharp got me doing this lesson once where he sent me outside the room. He then spoke to the rest of the class, and then I came into the room and I had to stand on top of the table. My legs were shaking. I didn't know what was going on. Everyone was just staring at me. After about a minute or two, he asked me how I was feeling. I felt embarrassed. I had no idea why I was there. All I knew was that people were looking up at me and making me feel uncomfortable. At that point, he said, "What would you like to do, Tom? Would you like to get down?" I said, "Yes, please." He said, "No, I'm not going to let you." I know. So instead, he said, "How about we let someone come up on top of the table and join you?" Someone joined me. He said, "How do you feel now?" A little bit better, but still quite nervous. He said, "Well, how about if everyone joined you?" And we all got up on top of the table. All of a sudden, I felt fantastic. I was standing up on top of the table. It was a bit silly, but everyone had joined me and I didn't have to change. He used that then to teach us about the tall poppy syndrome and how people grow. And we can either chop people down or we can build people up and help them to grow. That lesson really resonated with me because I don't think I'd always been the best person to people. Sometimes I give people crap. I like to have a bit of banter and sometimes I go across the line. I'm still working on it today. But what he taught me that day has stuck with me ever since. And in fact, I kept going back to him over and over again over the next couple of years. And he kept giving me these little bits of insight. He'd ask me questions about myself. He'd get me to think deeply. And I actually, at times, didn't really like the conversations. I left them quite often not wanting to go back and do it again because he made me feel uncomfortable. And he did it over and over again. The other thing that he did was he showed an interest in me. And he knew that I quite liked circus stuff. And I was able to juggle tennis balls and things like that. But he gave me 3 of these. They weren't even his, they were his brother's. And he handed them to me and he said, "Tom, take them away. You can have them for as long as you want, but have some fun with them." Now all I could juggle at the time was balls. And here he gave me things that I could light on fire. You could imagine just how impressed my folks were to hear that my teacher had given me something that I could light on fire. I've got kerosene, so if you want to see it afterwards, I can show you too. But that wasn't even the thing that made him stand out to me as a mentor. No, it was actually after that. I actually went away, I learned to become a teacher myself, and I wanted to be just like him. He's amazing. He was able to connect with students unlike any teacher that I've ever seen before. So I went away and I became a teacher. And when I came back, I tried so hard to be like him. I wanted to be him. I lost track of who I was. And in fact, I wanted everyone to see that I was like him. So I'd try and banter with students, but I didn't quite have that same skill that he did. In fact, I probably more pick on the kids. I didn't really connect with them. Then came a time where he said to me, "Tom, I'd like you to try something." And I was standing there in front of 200 kids. I was a coordinator at the time. And he said, "Tom, why don't you try the Mexican wave?" Because I was just about to start this whole coordinating business and I was going to and run an assembly for them. And I said, "All right, I'll give the Mexican wave a go." So I went, 3, 2, 1, hey! And that's about the response I got too. Not a single person put their hand up. Maybe I got 3 or 4. And he looked at me, he goes, "Do it again." I said, "All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey! Now, it's amazing because when it came to that, when it came to the actual assembly, no one went again. And I thought, I'll give it one more go. 3, 2, 1. Hey! Once again, absolutely nothing. It fell dead. I went away from that. And I didn't really think too much about it at the time. I still ran the assembly and I kind of put it behind me. But the whole time up until that point, for 2 years, all my colleagues thought I was really good at connecting with kids. And I knew deep down that I wasn't. And he came out to me after that and he said, Tom, I don't know what happened in there, but for some reason, the kids don't connect with you. They don't want to seem to come with you. At that point in time, I felt vulnerable. I felt like I'd been figured out. All this time, all my colleagues saw me in this way. But I knew that there was something else that I was missing. And he hit me at the core. He knew exactly what it was. It made me feel like my gut just sank. And I had nothing left. I actually wanted to run away from that conversation at the time. From there, I went away and I really worked hard at it. In fact, I'm now doing a PhD in how teachers connect with students and build relationships with students. So he's shaped the direction that my career is going to go in a big way. So when I think about Daniel and what he's done for me over these years, he's fantastic at observing. He looks at what happens or what I get up to, and he takes a step back. He doesn't tell me anything or say anything unless he really notices something, and he listens to what it is that I'm going through. He then believes in me. He believed in me that I could learn to juggle. He believed that I could improve in terms of my way that I could connect. And then he challenges me to think deeper, to go deeper and go beyond what it is that I'm currently doing. So when it comes time for me to do mentoring within Toastmasters, I'll make sure that I take a step back, I observe, I believe, and I challenge. Thank you. Thank you very much.